Hello and welcome to the InternView, a series focused on checking in and catching up with Actors Express's interns of the past, present, and future. I am Eliott Grenier, and I am currently an Actors Express intern. And today I'm joined by our fourth guest. He is from Roswell, Georgia, and he has been on Actors Express's stage several times. He was in Bad Jews, Good Boys and True, and Angels in America Part 1 and 2, just to name a few. I'd like to welcome Louis Gregory. How are you doing?
Doing great. All good. All good.
How did you get into theater?
Well, growing up, I always wanted to act. Um, and I remember in high school, I took acting one freshman year, and to do acting two, something, it like interfered with Spanish, or there was something that happened that I couldn't continue on with acting in high school. So, because I also, acting in Spanish have always kind of been my two like big passions.
Mm-hmm.
So I told myself, I was like, all right, if anything, it's just high school. I can always take acting in college and pursue it after that too. So I just focused on Spanish and kind of also use that as like a backup slash way to support myself until acting becomes the main thing that I do. I went to Georgia State after I graduated Centennial. Started with Spanish classes there, and then I was finally able to delve into acting, and I just like it kind of rejuvenated me in college, because only focusing on just like the academic stuff was not really fulfilling or motivating for me. But once I got going with like intermediate acting and Shakespeare acting and acting on camera, like I was like rejuvenated. I was like reinvigorated. And yeah, I didn't even know about Actors Express, by the way. I had been there before. I just didn't know I had been there before. My
That's so
Shakespeare
funny.
teacher, yeah, my Shakespeare teacher is the one who told me about the internship, Frank Miller, and I guess Dr. Frank Miller. And he was like, yeah, you should really go for it. I think you'd like really blossom there. It'd be a great way to, really get your feet wet in the Atlanta theater community. So that's what I did.
What was that experience like? I mean, what was it like then booking that audition and then getting cast in the intern company?
Right. So I was very green. I think what Freddie said was that he saw my instincts, and that I think that's kind of like what landed me a spot in the internship. So thank God for that. Um, but the experience was, I mean, I just finished like 4 or 5 consecutive acting classes. So I had some monologues like in my back pocket. I had my contemporary, my classical, so I didn't have to like dig for monologues for that, thankfully. But I once I auditioned, I didn't think it went well
That's
because like,
traditional, right?
right? I mean, I felt like I was like maybe it was okay. I don't know. I mean, you know what we do like after an audition, we always like get in our heads and like, should I have done this instead of that or whatever? The actor poison.
Yeah, the would have and could have, like.
Exactly. Yeah. But then I thought I just didn't get it because I didn't hear back for like the longest time, or at least what felt like the longest time.
Yeah, it's like a week, but it feels like it's been like months or years.
Exactly, yeah. And if I remember correctly, I think I auditioned before I even graduated, because I did a summer semester in Spain for my final year in college, and Spanish major. Um, and I did the audition before the Spain semester, but I didn't hear about it until it was like the day before I left Spain. It was something like that. Like something had like just happened, like right as like the college career was ending, and that's when I found out I got in. And I was so excited.
Yeah, very fortuitous timing there, right? Like, so.
Yeah. And I think they said the reason why it took so long is because that's right. My an internship year was when I think that was Freddie's first year as artistic director, and I think they were making that transition, and that's what I was told. What took so long? to make the decision.
Oh, and so doing my research, what year were you an intern?
I was 2007, 2008.
So that's you're going back to the beginning of Freddie, which has so far been most people's experience as an intern company.
Yeah.
So what was that journey like then? What you got into the internship, and now you've got a new artistic director. You've got you just came from studying abroad. Was the transition difficult? Like how did that feel for you?
Okay. I don't want to say difficult because I was quite the spring chicken at the time. Very energetic. Very I just didn't, I was so excited that the excitement kind of, I think, took away some of what otherwise would have been felt difficult for me. But at the same time, like, I didn't know so much. It's not like I didn't know anything. Like, I knew about my objective and my through line and all of that. But I didn't know, like, terms. Like, I didn't know what the house was. I remember the first play, it was dark play. And Alicia Quirk was the stage manager, and she said it was like I think it was, I don't know if it was like a dress rehearsal. It was when we were finally like in the space, and she said, Lewis, could you go drop off these props in the house for me real quick, and then meet me back in the green room? And I knew what the green room was because I had to ask. And I said, okay, yes, I will so do that. But just one quick thing, what exactly is the house? And she was like, the place where people sit and the actors perform. And I was like, okay, great, the theater. Yeah, got it. I'll be right back. Just like, okay.
Was there any part that was a specific high for you throughout that year?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, so there were two. I guess the biggest thing was being in Some Men. I was like actually in the cast. I could not believe Kent Gash cast me. I was just that. I still don't understand how that happened. But and it was also the first thing I did, which was I got to be the understudy for the lead character in Dark Play. I don't know if you read that play, but it's like 90 pages, and I swear to God, like 83 of those pages were my dialogue. There was
Oh, no.
so much to memorize. I was like, what? I was like, I have to memorize a book? Like, okay.
You're like, welcome to theater.
Right? Like they just throw me in. But it was great. I mean, like it was such a fantastic way to learn. I mean, like talk about, as far as like languages and immersion go, like it was a completely immersive experience. And I really do think about it like every day. How, I mean, it was nuts. And like looking back now, thinking of all of my responsibilities then, because I mean, like you kind of lived at, I mean, as I'm sure you're learning, you kind of lived there.
How did you manage the work-life balance?
I just did it. I didn't really think twice. I mean, like, here I was, this guy, because like everybody else had like a strong theater background. Like I just wanted to act. I just loved acting, and I loved like, I had my favorite actors like Dame Maggie Smith and Robert Duvall and Judi Dench, like, all of like these like great actors, and I just wanted to somehow be in that world any way I could. And I felt like this was my big shot in like, getting my foot in the door. So yeah, I guess I just didn't even think about it.
So what did you do for work?
I was working at ECFMG, which I don't know if you've spoken to Joe Sykes.
I have not.
He's another former intern. He actually works there now.
Oh.
And there's actually a lot of Atlanta actors that work there, and I didn't even know that when I got that job. But it's basically I was a standardized patient. So like you're given like a name and like a medical history and like a family history and all of these, everything you would need to know for a doctor's visit. And then doctors who need to become certified in the US have to go through this, it's like this multi-step process. It's kind of insane what doctors have to do. But this was like the second part of the second step in that process. And that's where you have like a live encounter with, I mean, they know that you're like a fake
Mm.
patient, but they have to like, so like we judge them on like, you know, if they ask the right questions and if their, you know, their bedside manner was good, if like they, when they had to palpate, if they like palpated too hard or not hard enough, things like that. So yeah, so it was kind of acting. It was definitely in that realm, which is probably why there's so many actors who work there.
So you pretty much do. So you found a way to be an actor in the day and at night, and
Yeah.
then still manage to wake up for brunch in the morning. This experience was very intense. You go through this, and almost, I'm sure it felt like it would never end at some point, and then all of a sudden, pop, the
Yeah.
internship ends.
Poof, it was done. Yeah.
What was that like? And then what was your next step?
I actually got cast in the next show of that, in the first show of the following season.
You're just rolling in
I
those
was,
shows.
I was really, really lucky. Yeah, what was was that? That wasn't Good Boys and True. I think it was Finn in the Underworld. And that's actually where I got to meet Marianne Fraulo, who's a wonderful, wonderful actor in town. But yeah, so I just sort of like, I got to, once I finished the internship, I actually, so I was the bartender um, for Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which Craig, who's Freddie's partner, he was Hedwig, and he was amazing. Oh my God, that man's voice. So, and I saw like, you know, 47 performances or whatever of that because I had to like stay in, it was like it was like your typical theater setup, like, you know, stage in front, audience, you know, in the back. But the bar was set up sort of like in the middle of the house, like in the middle towards the back. So, and I had to be there the whole time. So I saw all the performances. There was a few weeks where I had a family reunion that I had to get like special permission from Freddie to like go to because I knew it was going to cut into like the last 2 or 3 weeks of the internship, which he actually forgot about. I had to remind him. He was like, "No, you can't go. What are you talking about?" I was like, "But we talked about this." Like, oh yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. But yeah, so then after that family reunion, like so 3 weeks go by and poof, I was I was working there again. It was crazy.
Actually, that's kind of interesting that you bring up that you had like a family engage or you had an important thing to go do during the internship. And I know that it's almost a little awkward when you're in the course of it to ask that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in terms of learning how to do that for yourself, has that been useful in your professional career, being able to place
Oh,
your own boundaries? Um,
yes. Oh my God, yes. Like, I mean, there's been times like so I'm an interpreter. I'm a medical and a legal interpreter. And there are some, especially like when COVID-19, like in like February and March, when it was like just all people could talk about, and like everybody was like freaking out. Like parents are bringing their kids to the emergency department because they have like the sniffles and they're like freaking out. Their kids have COVID-19. But there were, I mean, there were some cases that were like really high risk, and I just, you know, if I knew I was gonna like see my parents the next day, because this is before everybody was like doing all the social distancing and everything. I knew I was going to see my parents, or if I knew I was going to be by like, you know, if I was going to work in like geriatrics the next day, like be by all these older people, like I would have to, you know, you just have to say no, you know, and you really have to learn to speak up for yourself. And I think acting definitely helps me draw clearer boundaries with others in a healthy way, not in like a, you know,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of funny to say, you know, you have to set your time aside for yourself or do what you think is safe because
yeah.
you're so used to feeling like I should say yes or I want to say
Yeah,
yes, but
because you want to help. I mean, that's why you're doing this. You know, that's why we're actors, I think, too, is to help people see things they wouldn't otherwise see.
yeah, I actually think that's a really good part of the internship is because you have to make these professional decisions in what is an uncomfortable moment
Yeah.
that later is very worth the lesson.
Yeah, I felt kind of like almost like it's almost like I was like unworthy to ask Freddie because like here's everybody else who's like if you I mean people coming from like strong performance backgrounds and like where they like just graduated from UGA with this like great theater degree and all of these things and here I am like Spanish major dude He was like, "So, Freddie,
Can I have some time off if I
right?"
plan far enough ahead, right? What are you up to now? Or
Like right after the internship, I did. I got cast in like 3 shows or something that year. I was like, "What is happening?" I mean, it was that was just like unreal. But then I started to focus more on theater and film. I actually really wanted to be a film actor. That was actually the goal. And everybody in the internship was like, "Oh, Lewis, you'll see. Once everybody says that, but once you get bit by the theater bug, you won't ever get, you won't ever be able to shake it." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And they were right.
so you essentially followed your mixture of acting and Spanish to the now. What's that like for you?
One of the reasons why I want to be an interpreter was because it was specifically not a 9 to 5 job,
Mhm.
because I wanted the flexibility. So I like, oftentimes with auditions, I mean, you're lucky if you get like 48 hours notice. So I wanted something that had that kind of flexibility to where I could sort of like jump on those opportunities when they came my way. But also, interpreting every single day is new. Even when I went to the same hospital every day, it was always something different. Every patient has their own story. Every patient has their own thing going on. And you really get to see people, or you really get to learn about people beyond just what's going on with them medically. You get to learn about their experience just as oftentimes as an immigrant in America, and just hearing about that, it kind of just connects you more to everyone else around you, which I think absolutely feeds into acting.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Lewis, for your time. And I guess, is there any parting words that you would like to leave us with?
As tough as it is, which I promise, if it's easy now, I promise it's still going to get tough in that internship. Just stick with it, because you will meet so many people. I mean, there's no way I would have had as much success in Atlanta had I not done that internship. And it is just as like hard as it gets, just stick with it, because I promise you it is worth it. You meet so many important people in town, so many people who can help you make your dreams come true and just give you opportunities that would never have come your way otherwise. So if you got in that internship, I know it's very competitive just to get in. Congratulations. You're amazing just for even doing this. And just, uh, it's interesting to see where you started and then how you come out on the other side.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much for talking to me. This is great.